So, hi guys, this is James Bremisa of the Brew Show. Hope you're all doing well. We're about to enter the festive season, so I encourage you all to have fun, but make sure you stay safe. And you can see me with a very nice looking gentleman over here. Yeah, pearly whites and all that. So, guys, in case you are unaware, this is Dre. Dre
Nice.
runs a very interesting brand on social media and, of course, off social media. Some of you might have seen it, some of you might not have seen it. It's called Only Models. And this is the brain behind the brand, Dre. Nice
Nice
to
to
meet
meet
you
you.
again.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.
Um, I really appreciate the intro. That was a very nice introduction. A very nice introduction.
It wasn't planned,
I
it was from the heart.
appreciate it. I appreciate it, my brother. So I guess for context, what Only Models is, it's a social media agency, a modeling agency. Um, we're also an event organization. We have Afro Swim Week that we do yearly. Um, we our goal is basically to promote African beauty. I got my inspiration from Miami Swim Week, and I thought it would be nice to have a version that focuses on our sisters, African women. Really putting them out there. And in Ghana, we are very. You might not know this. Those if you're watching this, you're not from Ghana, but in Ghana, we're very. I'm Ghana, so we're beach people. All we know is beach, and I'm a beach bum. I love to be on the beach. So swimwear was only a natural choice for me. And yeah, here we are now. Here we are now. So we hope to continue pushing African beauty, African creativity, that kind of thing.
Thanks so much for that. And how did you get started? When did you get started? You told us the why,
Okay.
but how
How and
and
when?
when?
How? Okay. When I started, I started Only Models officially last year July, but before that, there was maybe 9 to 10 months of just figuring YouTube out, trying new content that had to happen before I could officially start Only Models. So we started about a year ago in July, and you said how? How I went through 3 different channels to finally get the right, okay, this is the right channel.
Mhm.
Everything looks right. We're getting the growth that we need. Let's invest in a shoot. Um, I built a channel before I started investing in video shoots, and once I did, um, it took maybe 3 or so months. We had a few investors join me. One investor and a partner joined me to make sure that we could bring the vision to light. We were taking a bit of a risk because we didn't know if we are going to end from the first video shoot to the second video shoot. But I had the belief that, look, once we put this out there, I've seen what other channels have done. I've seen what the channel I created can do. So I used other content, and we're getting some viral videos. So I was like, okay, our content should work. And for the first 2 video shoots, it was out of pocket. We weren't earning any money. And by the third one, so that's 2 months that we weren't earning any money. Once we started investing in shoots, and by the third shoot, we were monetized, and we're good to go. From then, it was history. We just continued growing the brand, and we're looking forward to actually launching the first Afro Summit. So that's pretty much how. I think it took about 6 months or 5 months to get from starting to launching our first Afro Summit show. Yeah, that's
Nice,
how.
nice. And congrats on
Thank you,
being
thank you.
monetized and everything.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you,
Welcome.
thank you.
For those of you who are unaware, his channel has over 140,000 people already. And seeing when he started, that is pretty impressive. So,
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I
Charlie,
appreciate
more grease to your elbows.
it. Thank you. We're
Now,
hustling.
I know the name of the channel is Only Models, so it should imply that it's for just
Models.
models.
Yes.
But naturally, there are other stakeholders in the, should I say, creative space that will benefit from this. There are videographers, there are
Mm,
other content creators, and naturally, there are people who would make swimwear and stuff.
yes.
So, who would you say are the easiest group of people to work with when it comes to collaborations?
To work with. Wow, that's an interesting one. The easiest people to work with, I think, in my opinion, have been um, the photographers. Not, and I haven't had a lot of variety with photographers. It's just been one photographer who has been very easy to work with, consistent, good with communication, punctual. I struggle with the models. I struggle with the videographers all the time, all the time. And not to say that it's because of who they are, but the nature of the work that we do with regards to videographers. Oh gosh, and editors too. So I recently onboarded an editor, and that has been quite easy. And editing isn't should be a field where it's difficult, but editing has been quite easy. But yes, so videographers, models, the designers, we tend to run into issues in those areas. But as you said, none of it would be possible without these key departments. So I'd love to give a shout out to all the videographers we've worked with, the designers, um, the models, especially the models. So we have to give props where props are due.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I hope I've answered the question.
you've answered it
Okay,
brilliantly.
okay. Awesome.
And it's led me to another one where I've noticed the channel has birthed other channels,
Mhm.
not just for the models, but I've even seen someone you work with who shows you how he makes the beats.
Yes.
Yes. So I like the ecosystem that's coming out of the Only
The
Models
only
machine.
models, right?
And how does it all, should I say, mesh together?
Okay. Interesting. So once we had our first channel fully monetized and started earning cash, it only made sense to help it only made sense to build on that. Truthfully, I have a bit of a business mindset. Although the goal is to, like I said, promote African beauty, I'm also interested in making sure I'm financially stable, making sure the people around me are financially stable. So YouTube is quite finicky, or it can be. So in order to, mitigate or like reduce any risks or fluctuations in revenue, we decided to spread out our or diversify the content we make with other channels. And I think, truth be told, that's one reason why we started creating new channels. But truth be told, the second reason is in Ghana, models, um, the modeling agency or the model, excuse me, sorry, the modeling industry in Ghana isn't so lucrative.
Mm-hmm.
Truth be told, in if you're watching from the States, you might not know this, but models don't earn much. So my idea was, instead of focusing on getting the models more gigs, more opportunities in the industry, we focus on building them social media platforms. So at the beginning, I said we're a social media agency. I think being able to monetize our models would be a very powerful or impactful event or impactful, I guess, move to make. I think it could change some of the models' lives. I think it has already. As you said, you've seen a lot of their content. The Gold, for instance, she's on 30,000 subscribers already. So imagine a model coming from anywhere in Ghana. We accept any form of models. We just go through a vetting process, and all of a sudden she's earning um, good amounts of capital on YouTube. I think that's a very impactful um, move to make for any modeling agency. I think that's the best way we can help our models. So that's why we started, and that's the thought process behind it.
Nice. And you touched on giving them financial independence and stuff.
Yep.
Another problem that a lot of people might not know when it comes to females, well, I'll say females is actually cutting across for people, but it tends to happen a lot more with females in the creative space. They tend to be exploited because people feel they are vulnerable and therefore desperate
Absolutely.
they can take advantage of a situation.
Absolutely.
How has it been in terms of trying to convince somebody to let them know you are legit,
Mm.
especially when you were starting? How was that process like?
When I was starting, the first video we did, with the first video we did, we were supposed to have 3 models present, and we only had 2. One flaked. That flaking has been consistent throughout the years. Every now and then somebody will flake. We can't stop that. But in terms of convincing them, it 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 if you have to convince a model to do something, I don't think that's the right model for you.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I just presented what I was doing to people I thought were interested or who had modeling experience, and I painted the vision. This is what I'd like to do. This is where my inspiration comes from, and this is the end result I want. And those who were on board decided to jump on. Of course, they're being paid, so it's business. Like if I find a model who's in this industry and is interested in that line of business, they jump on board. I wouldn't want to. I've I've had conversations where I have to explain what we're trying to do, and perhaps there's second thoughts, and that's normal. I wouldn't force any model to do what we're doing because in Ghana, swimwear is a bit exposing. That amount of skin in Ghana is a bit iffy.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of confidence, a lot of strength in a woman to be able to do that on YouTube, not on Instagram or on
On
Snapchat, but on
Snapchat.
YouTube,
Hmm.
right, where everyone sees it. So I definitely understand where the question is coming from, but we wouldn't want to force anyone into doing this. If you're feeling uncomfortable, it's not by force.
Yeah.
You bab. You know what I'm saying, we find people who fit what we're trying to do. Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of ladies will be watching this and they want to know how they could possibly jump on the Only Models bandwagon.
Oh wow. Okay. So we go through a bit of a vetting process. Once we hold casting calls. We invite models over sometimes to do videos to showcase their struts and their walks on a makeshift runway. We have a small voting committee. There's footage of this on my channel if anybody is interested in watching. And based off of what we find there, models have an opportunity to join us during Afro Swim Week, which is annually or biannually, depends. That's one opportunity. Another opportunity is our monthly video shoots. We usually work with about 4 to 6 models each month. We haven't gone over 6 before, and we have gone under 4, but not by choice. So it's a bit difficult to invite a lot of people at once to
Mm-hmm.
join us because we are working with a budget, and we're trying to stay within it, but every now and then we select new models to join us. So I mean, if any model is interested, please reach out to us on Instagram, and either mine or the pet or we are only models, and we will get back to you and make sure to take you through the vetting process. So yeah, we're definitely looking for new models. Always, new models are always welcome.
I'm
Absolutely.
guessing the only requirements are that they should be confident and be of a certain age, right?
Yes, certain age, confident enough to wear swimsuits. Not all our video shoots are swimsuits. Some can be Halloween costumes or dresses, but majority of them are swimwear. So it'll be important to be able to do both. Um, Sorry, what was the rest of the question?
You basically touched
The
on it. The
requirements.
requirements, yeah.
Yeah, I think confidence is also important. Um, very good with instructions, prepared to learn, punctuality. We don't like communicators. We need someone who can communicate. If I'm late, tell us
Thank
you're
you.
late.
I'm running late.
But these are some of just basic
Yeah,
requirements, not anything too serious.
nice one. Nice one. Guys, I hope you're enjoying this interview with Trigger J.
Hey, Charlie.
Mhm. Now
Okay.
let's focus on you. How did you how did you decide that the creative space is where you want to be in? And I'm not just talking in relation to only models,
Uh-huh.
because I've seen your channel,
Mhm.
I've seen the tours you've been doing, and it's inspiring to know that you can just get out of the structure of a 9 to 5
Mm.
and be you and
Okay.
make money being you.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
how did that come to play?
yeah. Truth be told, Charlie, I went to university to be an aerospace engineer. Yeah, I went to school in the States to be an aerospace engineer. And I think during the first year, I knew, Charlie,
It's
nah,
not you.
nah, the amount of work it requires to, hats off to all the engineers out there and doctors. It requires a lot of studying and a lot of work. And I knew I wasn't prepared to live my life in a lab coat. Um, so at that moment, I knew I needed to figure something out. It took a few years to get to the point where content creation was a thing. During COVID, I left the States, came back to Ghana, and for about 2 3 years, I was working a 9 to 5 with my brother-in-law, which was an interesting time. Working with him, I learned a lot about what it means or what it takes to run a business, what it means to be a leader. He's a very intelligent man. You might see him in some of our videos, but you wouldn't notice. Very calm, quiet guy. Maybe not calm, or quiet, but very cool, collected kind of person, humble. And so I learned a lot from him. And it was then he invited me to take on a challenge, 75 hard. 75 hard changed my life. I promise you. So doing 75 hard, you're supposed to work out twice a day, 45 minutes each. One has to be outside. Balanced diet, no alcohol. You can smoke. For my smoker friends, don't worry. You can smoke too, but you have to read a book 10 pages per day and a progress picture. And I think I did about 68 to 69 days. I couldn't complete because of a funeral.
Mm-hmm.
But during those days, my fitness improved, my mental improved, and I learned a lot. I was reading books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, The Art of Thinking Clearly. These books just changed the way I was thinking about things. Like, maybe I don't need to spend all my time at a 9 to 5. I can pursue this, and eventually it would generate something for me. I started working on YouTube because I learned a lot from some of these social media guys, Kai Sanat, uh, who crowd. Like, I mean, there's so many, Mr. Beast, like these YouTubers. I see that this is what they're doing and they're enjoying it. Why don't we try it out? And I started looking for options, started trying things out on YouTube. I was posting the wrong kind of content on YouTube. I got copyright strikes on multiple channels. I got 2 channels deleted. So there was a period where I was failing quite a lot, but I knew, look, I can't do this 9 to 5 anymore. I need to figure something out. And so with time and effort, it worked out. So that's I think that's my how I ended up at content creation. Yeah.
And any advice for anyone who might be struggling to accept the fact that maybe 9 to 5s are not for them? Because it's a very scary world for most people, especially when you know how you started with aerospace engineering and you realized it wasn't for you at some point. There are some people who would literally go through it, start their career, and then go like, I'm stuck.
Charlie. Ooh, yeah, because it's difficult. The security of a 9 to 5 is essential. It's important. It's steady. You know, so it's interesting. I've had conversations about the difference between a 9 to 5 and business with people, and people say they enjoy the 9 to 5 more because of its stability. They know if they do X, Y, and Z, this is what's going to happen no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So it's difficult to say, look, if you feel like this is not working for you, chase something else. It's very difficult to say because you're putting people's lives at risk.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think there's a smart way to chase your dreams and still remain, still have a safety net. The only reason I was able to do any of this is because I had a safety net. I came back from America to Ghana. In America, I couldn't chase this dream. I needed a 9 to 5. I needed to work. Or Charlie, I'll go hungry, and that be all. You see, nobody's there to help you. So it's when I came back to Ghana, I was with family. I was able to try a few things. Like I said, I was working with my brother-in-law, and I think that's the first thing. So if you find a safety net, if you find something that if all else fails, I'm okay. So you have a 9 to 5 job. I think just spend your weekends or spend your evenings pursuing a different thing, whether it's real estate or social media or crypto or drop shipping. These are all things that if you get the opportunity to pursue, I really advise that you should. You then become in control of your own time. You have the ability to do the things you want to do, and you can scale up. I think with a 9 to 5, it's very difficult to grow. Um, but there is no. Please don't get me wrong. 9 to 5s are also very important. They're also very. I mean, they're good 9 to 5 jobs, Charlie. Well-paying 9 to 5 jobs, crucial jobs that people need to be doing. So everybody has their own thing. But for those who want to pursue social media or content creation or something like that, I'd say find your safety net and make a plan and start executing. Do not leave your job until you know, Charlie, there's some money coming in. I think I didn't quit my job until I started in July. I don't think I quit my job until after Christmas. Yeah, I don't think until after Christmas I was still there. So it takes time before you make that leap of faith.
It takes time before you make that leap of faith. That's a very nice takeaway from this.
Mm.
Sugar Dre, it's been a pleasure having you on the Brew Show.
I
Um,
appreciate you for having me.
even though I have sort of mentioned it, please share your social media handles again for those.
Okay. So for my personal channels, Instagram, YouTube is Trigger Dre, TRIGGADRAI, Trigger Dre. For the business, it's Only Models. We are Only Models on Instagram or YouTube, and Afro Sumik is our last Instagram. That needs a bit more of work, but it's also an Instagram account that we have. So please feel free to check us out and let us know if you enjoy our content. Yeah.
Guys, it's been a pleasure bringing this video to you. This is James Brew, Mr. of the Brew Show. You can find the Brew Show on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, and you can find the Brew Show on the same platforms and TikTok as well.
Threads.
Threads,
Nice.
Charlie.
Nice, nice. It's a
Bye.
pleasure.